An insane trade that would bring Lonzo Ball back to the Lakers and also give them the center that they need. Also, Chris Paul signing with the Lakers and new uniforms for next season for the purple and gold. All that more coming up next on The Big Lead. What is up, and welcome to The Big Lead. My name is Doug McKain, credentialed member of the media. I've covered LA sports and the NBA for over a decade. Chat Sports, 24/7 Sports, Bleacher Report, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. And if you're new to The Big Lead, this is the hottest stories in sports in less than an hour with tons of Lakers talk. I grew up a Lakers fan. I've been a Lakers fan my entire life. I've covered the Lakers, and this is basically an unofficial Lakers podcast because we're doing Lakers. Everything to do with the Lakers, you'll find it here on The Big Lead. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, comment Luka Magic down below. We're still going to give away that Luka Doncic Lakers jersey. But let's get right into it with the latest Lakers talk. And we're going to start with an insane trade. This is an insane trade proposal that would get the Lakers a point guard and a center. And it's from Bleacher Report, and it's a massive trade. And we'll get to what the Lakers get, but let's start with the foundation of the trade would be Giannis Antetokounmpo. And if I told you Giannis Antetokounmpo was traded, your first hope would be that it would be to the Lakers. But asset-wise, it's unrealistic. And there's other teams out there that would be willing to give up better players, just period, point blank. If the Bucks are going to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo, they're going to have to get a haul, and they're going to have to get a Godfather offer with tons of young talent and assets. And the truth is, the Lakers just don't have much. You got the 2031 first-round pick. You have pick swaps. You've got Dalton Connect. You've got Austin Reeves. There's pieces that you have, but not quite ones that will land you a MVP, a guy in Giannis Antetokounmpo who's still a top 1, 2, 3, or 4 player in this league. He's in that elite tier with Luka, with Joker, with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's a very small group, but he's certainly still in that group. He still has prime years left in him. And in this trade, the Toronto Raptors get Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Smith from the Bulls, Javon Carter from the Bulls. The Milwaukee Bucks, this is a huge haul. This is massive. They get R.J. Barrett from the Raptors, Grady Dick from the Raptors, Chris Boucher signed and traded from the Raptors, Jacoby Walter from the Raptors, Gabe Vincent from the Lakers. So that's the first Lakers piece in this puzzle. Then the 2025 number 9, this and the following picks are from the Raptors. 2026 first round swap rights, 2026 Lakers second rounder, 2027 first round pick, 2028 first round swap rights, 2029 first round pick, 2030 first round swap rights, 2031 first round pick, 2032 first round swap rights, top 5 protected for the Raptors. Now, what do the Lakers get? You get Jakob Poeltl from the Raptors, a dynamic center, a above-average center, a player that the Lakers have shown interest in recent years, and this is a guy that checks off a lot of boxes for what they need. He's a very efficient player, a 20 PER, averaged 14.5 points and 9.6 rebounds, 2.9 assists in 57 games last year for Toronto, and he was very efficient, a 62.7% field goal percentage, and he brings other things to the table that you would want, right? I mean, he brings a level of efficiency, a guy that can rebound for you, and you can protect the paint. I mean, not the best shot blocker in the league, but 1.2 block shots, and has the ability to kind of distribute a little bit, 2.8 assists, 1.2 steals, doesn't turn the ball over. So a guy that certainly would be on the higher end of players that the Lakers would want in a move if they're going to kind of go big and kind of empty that war chest that really does not have a lot of pieces in it. And at that point, you're just kind of going all in with Luka and LeBron. And you look at, too, his contract situation. They're not committed overly long-term to him. He's owed $19.5 million for next season, and then he has a $19.5 million player option for the 2026-2027 season. Now, everything works out. You absolutely pick that up. He's 31, so he's still right there in line with Luka, and we'll see what LeBron's future holds. But still, I mean, that's a pretty valuable player option as long as he stays healthy and as long as he stays productive. And then Lonzo Ball. Could the Lakers bring back Lonzo Ball, the player that they took number 2 overall, a guy that has dealt with so many injuries out of UCLA? And it'd be interesting because clearly this is not the Lonzo Ball that was continuing to get better with the Pelicans and signed a really nice deal with the Bulls. He had truly emerged with the Pelicans, shot more efficiently from 3, 37% from 3, 14.6 points per game. But it was his first year in Chicago where it was really looking like the light was turning on, played 35 games, averaged 13 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. Not elite numbers, but still 42% from beyond the arc on 7.4 attempts. So he's really starting to figure out how to shoot the 3. Overall field goal percentage, not elite, but then he missed the 2022-2023 season with the knee injury. Missed the 2023-2024 season with the knee injury. Made it back this year, played in 35 games, averaged 7.6 points per game, 3.3 assists, shot 34% from 3, 36% from the field. So I think if you're going to bring back Lonzo Ball, you have to buy into the fact that last year was really his comeback year. And the hope for him is that with an entire offseason, continue to build strength in that knee, continue to build confidence that in your organization that he can get back to hopefully being anywhere near the guy he was before the knee injury. Because he had an experimental knee surgery. It was cartilage replacement surgery. So this is not like a normal thing that you see players come back and get back to their old selves. So, I mean, it's a major question mark. I mean, Pirtle really would be the kind of the big win in all of this, and Lonzo would be the big wild card. He's the lottery ticket in this. And the question is, who would the Lakers send out? Well, the Bulls would get Dalton Knecht, Jared Vanderbilt, Shake Milton, AJ Lawson from the Raptors, $10 million trade exception with Ball, $9 million trade exception with Smith, and a $1.5 million trade exception with Carter. So the Lakers in total would ship out 4 players and a second-round pick in this monster deal that lands them 2 players in Ball and Pirtle. So I think that this is a pretty high price. I think that it's too big of a risk with Ball to give up this much. But if the Lakers believe in him, if they view Pirtle as the only kind of above average center they can get with what they have, maybe you kind of look at it as at least we're getting 2 players that could do something for us. And like I said, Ball isn't what he was when he was drafted by the Lakers. He's a guy that we thought possibly would retire, but still, I mean, he still has some skills. And if this trade was offered to the Lakers, I do think that they probably would pass as of right now. It's tough to justify giving up Knecht, Gabe Vincent, and those assets unless you're guaranteed healthy, unless you're guaranteed that Ball would be anywhere close. Now, if they want less than this and you don't have to necessarily give up these assets like a Dalton Knecht, maybe you consider it. Maybe you consider with Vanderbilt and Shake Milton and a pick, a second-round pick, it's possible. But I think that they're going to be very selective because they don't have a ton of assets, and they're going to try to get the best players they can get with that haul. So that isn't necessarily the case here, but it's interesting. And just, I'm not going to lie, as a UCLA alum, as someone that's always loved Lonzo Ball, I covered Lonzo Ball when he was before he went to UCLA. I mean, I had known the Ball family as far as players for a long, long time, and it would be cool to get him back into Southern California. It would just be a great success story if things could turn around for him here, and I wouldn't be opposed to having him on the Lakers. It's just for that price. Okay, switching gears to Chris Paul. So Chris Paul, he was on the Pat McAfee show a few days ago, and he was asked about his future, and he didn't mention specifically or explicitly where he wanted to play, but he did mention his family, and his family, they live in Los Angeles, and he wants to continue his career, but he wants to be around his family. And Chris Paul said, I talked to my family about it. My son just turned 16. My daughter's 12. The past 6 seasons, I've lived without them. So I go to San Antonio, Phoenix, Golden State, OKC. I've been around a few teams, but I've been away from them the past 6 years, so it's a little different. So would he go to the Lakers? Could the Lakers sign him? I mean, we know that Chris Paul is always going to be linked to the Lakers, death, taxes, and the Lakers getting CP3, right? That's always the case. But does it make sense still? Because at the time, the Lakers had LeBron James, you had Anthony Davis, and they need a point guard, and it made sense to bring in the point guard, but you got Luka Doncic now, and Luka Doncic is a guy that's going to be a primary ball handler, and if Chris Paul wants more than the veterans minimum, do you really want to bring in a guy that you don't necessarily know is going to be there in your crunch time lineup, or if he still has something left in the tank, he's going to be a big part of what you have going on. So I do think that had the Lakers figured out certain positions, center spot, and let's say they had traded for Mark Williams and he worked out and things have gotten better from a roster build standpoint, that, yeah, I mean, you could take a flyer on Paul, but my concern is they just have so many needs right now that do you really want to take the risk on an aging point guard just because of the name on the back of his jersey, just because of what he's done, not what he's going to do for you? We saw how that worked out with Russell Westbrook. And yes, there's a part of me that wants to find a way to get Chris Paul on the Lakers because we know that he could have been on this team a long time ago if it weren't for David Stern and everything that's related to that. But at the same token, this isn't the same guy. I mean, the Lakers, they have Gabe Vincent. So if the Lakers are going to trade Gabe Vincent, then maybe this makes more sense. But having a small point guard is not easy to overcome in the NBA if they're not elite. And if you have Gabe Vincent and Chris Paul, you're looking like a undersized team, a team that doesn't look that athletic, a team that's older. That's something that hurt the Lakers against the Timberwolves. They didn't look athletic. They looked like the older team, the slower team. So do you really want to keep going in that direction? And I think, too, it's what role would Chris Paul be willing to accept? Is it a backup role? Is he willing to play limited minutes? Is he going to embrace being the elder statesman on a team that has better players that can play longer and take big shots in those spots? Or does he think, no, I'm still Chris Paul. I want to be Chris Paul even at this age, even with advanced minutes, right? So I think it just comes down to what he thinks his role will be, the role the Lakers would envision for him, and just how much trust J.J. Redick and LeBron James have that it's not going to be something that as the season goes along that he's not going to be happy here, right? Because I still think that he played every game for the Spurs. He clearly can stay healthy. So, I mean, I think that he's an option. Is he the best option? We'll see. On the minimum, I mean, sure, you could do a lot worse than Chris Paul on the minimum, but I could see a reunion with Chris Paul and the Clippers, and we know that Chris Paul, he has a history playing with James Harden, so that definitely bodes well. Chris Paul has some history with LeBron, right, Team USA, and things like that. But I just think that really the Chris Paul, the Lakers thing, we knew it was inevitable. We knew we were going to see it. But I would say there's such a heavy guard rotation, right? Luka, AR, CP3 could be a disaster. I mean, the other couple guards in the rotation are going to need to, I think, be defensive-minded first to help Luka and Austin Reeves out. And I think, look, let's just be honest. Chris Paul, still good-ish, considering his age, considering the minutes, but this is not a defensive-minded guard at his career at this point. I mean, I like I said, a vet minimum backup point guard veteran, I don't have a problem with it, but it's a low-priority move, and it shouldn't impede them from making other moves. So, I mean, it'd be kind of crazy to think of having that star with Luka and LeBron, but it's not the same. It's not the same right now. I mean, I don't know if I need to see CP3 flopping around the court for the Lakers right now. And I personally would keep this low priority and focus on big picture stuff, right? I know, look, some people don't like Chris Paul. Some people think he's dirty. Some people think he flops and this and that. But for me, it's not really all about this. It would have made sense 2-3 years ago, but roster spots are at a premium, and with him always getting playing time with teams that he's on if he gets injured at the playoff. That's the other thing too. Chris Paul, he can stay healthy, but then the playoffs roll around and something happens inevitably. It was the hamstring in the Warriors series when the Rockets had a chance to beat them. He had the toe injury with the Clippers. It feels like he's cursed in the playoffs. So, yeah, 8 to 10 minutes a game, fine. But I'm not going to put too much into this. I think the only way I'd consider this is if they were going to trade Gabe Vincent or some reason trade Austin Reeves for a big-ticket type of player, and they thought that he could come in and fill a role. In that situation, then I'd certainly embrace it then. But with the roster as currently constructed, it makes me wonder if this makes a ton of sense. Okay, before we get out of here, we're going to talk some Lakers jerseys. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a leak that the Lakers could be rebranding for the next season and that they could be going back to the jersey template that we saw for a long time. Now, first thing you got to see is there's this supposed leaked 2025-2026 statement jerseys, and these are all purple with the Lakers word mark in white outlined in gold with the Jordan logo on it. These are very simple. There's a little black piping-ish thing happening on the side here, but the bigger takeaway, and these are okay. I mean, these are not great. I mean, they're going to bring back the Lakers jerseys that look like they have refrigerator letter magnets on them, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But yeah, I'm less concerned about those, even though I really don't like those. I mean, the best one was the Mamba one, right, with the scales. I think that's one of the best uniforms of all time. Quite frankly, I think it's like a top 10 to 15 uniform of all time, especially with the history and when they came out. But the bigger question for me is, are they going back to gold? Are they going to truly go back to gold? Because if you look at these, this is a leak, and you see the association, which is the home jersey, the icon, the road jersey, and the statement jersey is the alternate. Well, the home jersey, this has the Lakers word mark in purple, the numbers in white, and the drop shadow in gold. So this looks like it could be and there's no side paneling here, but there's a little line here, so I'm not sure what like this. But with the Shaq and Kobe Lakers, they went to this jersey to enter the 99 and 2000 season where you had the little dash right here. And in that case, the Lakers uniforms, the numbers were white, but they were outlined in purple, and they didn't have the drop shadow to this side. I think these look like they're a combination of the Showtime jerseys and the Kobe Shaq era. And I'm the biggest jersey nerd there is, and I think that's what they're onto here. Do I love these? I think if you're going to go Showtime era, you keep them where it's white, purple, white here on the collar, right? And then you just do the drop shadow like they were, and you go back to a gold jersey. This looks like a hybrid of them almost. And the purple one as well. It's white with the gold drop shadow veering to the right here. I see some black on the shorts. I think that just might be an outline. And then here on the white ones, you have the old Los Angeles script logo that was first debuted on the white and blue ones and the blue and white ones before they went to purple and gold. And it looks like there's like a purple, gold, and then blue drop shadow on these, which I don't like. I mean, I would, if I'm going to go with that statement one, the white ones, the Sunday whites, I'm going with the normal Lakers word mark. So I'm going to try to do some digging on these to find out what I can discover if they're truly going to make a change. The best thing, though, I mean, look, Nike's absolutely butchered the Lakers jerseys. They look atrocious compared to what they have for most of their existence. It's yellow now. It's highlighter, banana yellow. It looks terrible. It looks awful. It's really bad. They have massacred the Lakers jerseys. Nike's done a crappy job. Let's just be honest. And I'm the biggest Nike guy there is. The biggest Nike Jordan guy there is. They've done a bad job when it comes to the NBA jerseys. With the scallop backs, with the cheap materials that were ripping, with these statement jerseys that no one buys. I mean, where do you see anyone wearing these ever? Like, they're never anywhere. And they don't even sell authentic NBA jerseys anymore because no one buys them. No one's wearing them. It's just kind of not what people do. So it would be cool to see a Lakers jersey that was gold. And it does look like they're kind of going back to that look that I remember when Nike took over. So basically it used to be Champion, right? And then in the 97 season, Nike, they took over a certain amount of teams. There was a handful of teams that Nike took over while the rest of the league was Champion. Some teams were Puma. Some teams were Starter. I mean, there was different teams around the league. You could sign with whoever you wanted to. And the original Nike teams were as follows. It was the Lakers. It was the Bulls. It was the Pistons. It was the Spurs. It was the Raptors, the Miami Heat. Those were the original and only Nike teams at the time. And then things started to change. They got a little different. And then starting in 99-2000, the teams that went to this template that has a little dash here, it was the Lakers, the Pistons, and the Heat. And the Pistons and the Heat, they still use that template. They have for the longest time, and it looks like the Lakers could be going back to that. But that's going to do it for this episode of The Big Lead. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Let me know down below in the comment section. You want to see the Lakers make a trade for Lonzo Ball, Jakob Poeltl? Do you want to see CP3 on the Lakers? Let me know down below. And if you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. And until next time, by the way, follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, I'm out.